good day and welcome back to my channel, and I am watching the social media and I am watching TV, and I go to the channel of CNN and I am watching the live stream and newscaster to the CNN news, and they're talking about Russia attacks Ukraine, and let's watch the video, guys.
Allies near Russia and Ukraine. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has called the crisis the new normal in European security. NATO's pledge comes after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky criticised the alliance for not coming to his country's aid. Diplomatic editor James Bays reports now from Brussels.
Troops, tanks and weapons are on the move across Europe as NATO continues to reinforce its eastern front, its member states who are closest to Russia. Now the alliance has activated elements of its response force, thousands of extra troops. Over 100 jets are on high alert, 120 warships are in position. NATO leaders met by secure video conference for the first time since the start of the Russian invasion, as fears grow that the Ukrainian capital could be taken soon. How fearful are you about the possible fall of Kyiv? And if we move to a resistance, insurgency type situation, what support can NATO then give?
What we have seen is that the Ukrainian forces are fighting bravely and are actually able to inflict damage on the invading Russian forces. But again, it is a very fluid and evolving.
What's been happening? You saw what happened with Alex there. You heard Caitlin at the White House talking about these sanctions on Putin and Sergei Lavrov, by the way. What's your assessment?
Gosh, so many different reactions and emotions. The first thing I think that I just watching these pictures is I keep thinking back to Kyiv when I was last there, which was just several months ago. You know, the thing that viewers should know is Kyiv is a beautiful European city. It has beautiful central squares. The place that Alex often is what you can see in the background, that golden spire, is the Santa Sofia Cathedral that's 1,000 years old by some reckoning. It's littered with cafes and coffee shops, bustling with life, you know, cosmopolitan people. So to see it in this atmosphere of death and destruction and bombing is heartbreaking, because it's really one of the great civilized capitals of the world, and it breaks my heart to see what's going on. I've also been struck by the degree to which Vladimir Putin, who one always thought of as rational, calculating, whatever, you know, he was an adversary, but always seemed rational and calculating, seems to have really taken leave of his senses. The degree of emotionalism, of romanticism, of strange kinds of invective and calumny. He is, you know, referring to the Ukrainian government as Nazis. This is a government, Don, that is headed by a president and a prime minister who, where he's in some kind of strange emotional bubble. He's always been emotional about Ukraine, but it seems to have taken over the way he's thinking about this, which makes it very dangerous. Because in the past, while you could count on Putin to be an aggressive Russian nationalist, you thought there was a kind of rationality at work. What appears to be happening now is a kind of reckless irrationality.
Do you, Fareed, someone said earlier whether, you were speaking about his mental state, whether he is actually doing what you're saying, right, thinking what you're saying, or if he wants people to believe that. I don't think it matters at this point because the outcome is really the same. What he's doing is very reckless and dangerous and deadly. Do you think Putin will stop at Ukraine when his goals seem to be to dominate his neighbors and control more?
My own guess, and look, I must confess he's gone further than I thought. My own guess is that his ambitions right now are about Ukraine. He's always been neuralgic about Ukraine, emotional. For him, Ukraine is, I think he fancies himself a kind of great Russian czar, kind of going back to Peter the Great, who is the man he admires the most. If you see in a Financial Times interview, he said this was really his role model. And the idea is that Ukraine is this indivisible part of Russia. The all began out of Kiev, actually. Kievan Rus is the name of the origins of modern Russia. So Ukraine has a special place for him, and he cannot stand the fact that the Ukrainian people feel otherwise. I mean, at the heart of this, Don, at the heart of this whole conflict is something very simple. The Ukrainian people want to live a modern, open life in a democratic society and align themselves just politically and civilizationally more with the West. What triggered the first invasion, it's important people remember, is in 2014, a government in Ukraine, which was at the time headed by a pro-Russian, one of Putin's acolytes, decided it was going to sign a trade association with the European Union. That's what triggered the first invasion of Ukraine and the annexation of Crimea. So I think Ukraine has a very special place in Putin's heart. I would be surprised if he would go further than that. But look, I've been surprised by how far he's gone so far.
Fareed Zakaria. Fareed, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We've got much more on our breaking news now. You can see Kyiv in the crosshairs there. It's just after 6 in the morning. Multiple explosions and now heavy gunfire heard in that capital city. We'll be right back.
Point, and that's what many Ukrainians must be concerned about around the country now. We're seeing Russian forces advance. What happens in their wake? Do they try and control sleepy, disinterested river towns like this, or is it simply a case of that being a question to be answered later on? Don?
Peyton Walsh, thank you very much, sir. The people of Ukraine are fighting for their freedom and their lives. Next, a young couple who got married the day Russia invaded and now are defending their country.
And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And don't forget also to comment and share and notice to others, guys. Thank you.